Hello and welcome to Canuck Farms. We're back with another episode of Westby, Wisconsin, and we made a few updates to some of our mods here, and the goal today is actually to see if we can get some of the hay and straw off of our fields here, and that's going to open things up so we can do some tillage, probably do some seeding here, get some of our winter crops planted eventually, and just generally get us in a better spot as we want to move the clock forward here and get closer to winter. We've also got some other crops that we need to get off of our fields here. And so before we move the time ahead, we got so many jobs that we need to finish up here in the month of August. So we're going to keep pushing forward on that and see if we can get all of that work done. And then we can get into things like, I believe our soybean crop over here will be ready to harvest in the not too distant future. However, I think the best job to start with here is going to be to get out our trusty baler here. And we're going to go and bale the hay that we've got up on this top field. I know we ran a couple of hay bales off in the previous episode, but we didn't really get into it too much, I don't think. So we're going to go ahead and bale all of that hay that's up in the field next to the road and see how far that gets us. I'm really curious to kind of take a look at how much we get in storage after getting that field done. That's going to help me decide how many of these other fields we need to keep as grass so that we can continue to feed our cows, and how many of those we might actually plow up to get a little bit more field ground. This segment right here, we could plow this up and connect it with that soybean field that we've got right there and have a little bit more tillable acres here. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. We're definitely figuring things out as we go in this series, so I'm open to suggestions and feedback as always. Man, this 4240 is having a bit of a struggle pulling this up the hill. I'm a little bit surprised that we can't go in 8th gear here, get going too much faster than 8 miles an hour. So we'll just drop that back down into 7th and keep plodding our way up the hill. We'll go ahead and get the baler unfolded here, turned on and dropped down. We should be able to hit this. I think we're going to be going at a steady 6 miles an hour here, which seems a little bit fast potentially, but we're going to go with it here. Everything in Farm Sim is just a smidge out of place compared to what I recall. I don't know. We'll go with it though. This baler works really well. I kind of like how it's tossing them in there. What I would really like, though, is a good auto stack bale trailer that's set up to kind of handle it like we did it on the farm, where you had somebody standing back there and stacking the bales up nice and neat as you went along. These cages where you just kind of toss them in is interesting, but it's kind of a mess to unload. I mean, for us, it doesn't matter since we've got an auto load hayloft that we're just dumping these into, I suppose. But I don't know, if I did ever get up the courage to try and stack bales and use a front loader or something to try and store bales manually, then I would have to definitely look for something a little bit different. But well, that's just me kind of tossing some thoughts out there. Well, let's see here. This is going to take us a minute to get all these bales picked up here, I think. We're just going to keep going on this and check in with you in a little bit. So we're coming up on the end of our first pass here, and it looks like we dropped a bale out here when we were baling previously. So I'm just going to clean up a little bit of this that we left laying around on the ground, and I guess we should probably hop out and grab this bale. I really don't want to just leave bales lying around here. Here we go. Now, the nice thing about these small square bales is you can actually just pick them up by hand. You don't need anything special to do that. And we'll go ahead and raise this up. Now, I left just a little bit of hay back there. I'm not going to be too picky about it. We'll be here all day if I try to pick up every little tiny bit. And I think what we're going to do is go ahead and take the rest of this headland pass off and work our way back up towards the other end like that. I'm not sure we'll get all the way back to the other end of the field before the hay trailer is full here, but we're going to give it a shot. I know as we start to get full, it gets harder and harder for these bales to kind of get tossed in there into the back of that trailer. So I don't know. We'll see how much we're going to get out of going around the field here. Either way, it'll be easier to tackle some of these long rows if we don't have a big pile of hay sitting at the end of the field that we're having to bounce over with this whole setup. So with that, I'll check back in at the other end of this field. So we've made it to the end of the field here, which is surprising. I would not have anticipated that. I think there were a few spots on the headland here where we just didn't have nearly as much grass raked up into the windrow. The struggle is, I don't think we're going to make it all the way back around again. However, I'm not really sure what to do about that. I don't want to run a half-empty trailer up there, so I guess we're just going to start taking another pass, and wherever that leaves us, we'll just have to shut everything down and drag this back up to the yard. I was really hoping for convenience, but it just doesn't look like things are going to work out that way. So I have just accidentally discovered that I can change the angle that the baler pitches its bales at, so we can try and fill up the corners of this trailer just a little bit better here. So we're going to angle these over to the right side of the trailer here, see if we can fill up that back corner just a smidge, and then we'll do the other side. So let's turn around here, and hopefully you guys will be able to see what I'm talking about here. It's this chute right on the back of the baler that fires the bales up into the trailer. I can move it to the left or the right like so, and hopefully allow me to fill things up just a little bit better. If I'd realized this a bit earlier, I probably would have filled the back of this trailer up just a little bit better, but we're gonna angle them off. Oh, we're losing bales. We gotta stop. Oh goodness, come here, bale. Let's see here if I can launch this up into the trailer. It looks like we're getting pretty close to full. I'll see if I can climb up in the trailer here. Maybe if we toss a few of these back further, we've got some room here, but really this is kind of futile. They're going to start falling out here pretty quickly, so we're just going to move a handful of these and see if I can make it to the end. If not, we'll just pack things up and start bringing it up to the yard here. Please don't fall out. Gotta be careful. We left the baler running. Really shouldn't have done that. Too many moving parts. There we go. I'm gonna bring it over to the other side here. Looks like I got a bit of a gap over there. Yeah, that's a good throw. Well, this is actually kind of a cool little mini game, something to keep me entertained while going back and forth down the rows baling here. Play around a little bit with seeing if we can chuck bales into specific openings for the fun of it, like so. We'll try on the other side again. See if I can get one up on top of those two. Oh yeah, look at that. Way too much fun. But yeah, at any point here, they're going to start falling down this giant mound and just rolling out of the trailer like so. I think we're at a point that I should just turn this thing off. We'll back up and pick this one bale up by hand, and then we'll get this thing up to the yard before we make a giant mess. I don't know if that's going to stay up there or not, but we'll give it a shot. And we might as well fold this baler up so it comes in behind us. That'll make it easier as we get up to the barn and we pull into the unloading point. We almost made 2 full rounds here. I think now that we're done with the long rows here, we'll be able to load this grass up and get it back up to the yard in just a couple more trips. I mean, we'll make 2 full rounds on the short rows for sure. We've probably got 2 trips here up to the farm, and we'll be all done with the baling. So let's go ahead and get up here and get this stuff unloaded. I'm so glad we spent a little bit of time cleaning up the yard last episode. Makes it real nice for coming through here with other equipment and not having to get hung up on stuff or stop to move everything around and out of the way. So definitely like keeping the yard cleaned up. And if I recall, this whole thing is a trigger here. We might have to turn it on and back off again since we reloaded the map here. Let's see how that's going to work. If I remember right, it's right here. I close up the hayloft and then I can open the hayloft again. There we go. And all those bales start dropping out of the trailer just like so. If we pull forward, boom, just like that, we've loaded all of that hay right up into the hayloft. Now, before we start going back out to the field here to do the next load of bales, I think what I want to do is get this other tractor set up on the rake and start raking up some of our straw here. So let's see here. I'm gonna just shut the 4240 off. We'll leave that there for a moment. I think we're going to use the 4040 to do a little bit of raking. It's not a hard job. The rake isn't going to take that many horse, so I think we can just drop our feed cart right here. And let's get this guy all fired up here. Probably toss it into C range, and away we go. I do really enjoy having the different transmission styles in Farm Sim now. It's just such a fun little addition to the game. It does sometimes take me a little bit to get used to the new driving patterns, such as using the gas pedal to go both forwards and backwards now. I was so used to the pressing the brake button to go backwards in the previous Farm Sims, so that's been a little bit of a learning curve, but one that I'm not afraid to keep working on just to get some really cool behavior here with all of the gear shifting and stuff. So we're gonna take this up the hill and into this very top back field, field 38, because I believe field 38 needs to be plowed. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get Courseplay running up here on the rake. I think it's gonna be able to handle it. I know we had been doing some raking up here with the other rake, but I'm not sure we did that good of a job, although now that I'm looking at it, it does look like we did some raking here. Let's drive into the field and see if we did more than just the headland passes, because this definitely doesn't look like something we had Courseplay do. This looks like something I was doing with the rake most likely, and I'm guessing that we just didn't finish this up. Yeah, it doesn't look like we did any raking up there in the main part, so what we're gonna do is bring this guy back down here, I think, to the corner of this field. We'll start our course somewhere down here and just let Courseplay clean all of this up for us. I think that's gonna be the best way to handle it. So with our guy on the field, we'll come into the worker screen here, and if I create job, I can go to Courseplay fieldwork. It selects the field that we've got highlighted here, and I can say open course generator. It's got a working width set here. I'm going to guess that we're a 30-foot wide implement here. I'm really not sure. But we've only got one field, and we're going to do probably one headland ought to be enough for this. We should probably really do two, but I'm going to take my chances. We're going to generate this course and see what it looks like. This has got us going at this funky angles. I really want to go the other way, so I will adjust this. I think we'll try longest edge, see what that looks like. There we go. That's a much better looking course. Should work out a bit better when we're coming to clean all of this up with the baler. And so we're going to go ahead and start this course. I've got the new Courseplay window up here, and we're all loaded up. I think all I've got to do is hit start, and he's off to the races. So after a little bit of finagling, I decided to go with a 2-route course here, or a 2-headland course, I should say. And so we've got the 4040 going here now finally, and we're gonna let this worker go. She looks like she's got it under control. Get this all raked up. We'll be able to come back and bale this a little bit later when we get to doing some of these other fields down here, because all these little grass strips and such, I'm not sure Courseplay is going to work out so well. However, these are nice small fields. We'll do these manually most likely. Not too worried about it at the moment. We will have to get some Courseplay courses recorded for our grass areas up on the top of the hill here, though, at some point, because that is a pretty sizable field, and I really don't want to be doing that one by hand all the time. It's been fine here for the first round here to get some experience with our different equipment and stuff, but I think moving forward, we're going to be leveraging a little bit more Courseplay, especially on some of these bigger fields that don't require us to do things manually. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the rest of this baling done here. We'll see if I can do a little bit better job of loading things into the trailer here. Now that I know I can control where we're throwing the bales, we'll hopefully at a minimum get these corners filled up, and that'll make it so that hopefully we're getting more bales up to the barn in a single run here. Now, I don't think anything's going to get all of these bales into a single trip. We're still going to have to make 2 trips. So we cleaned up all the little scraggly bits here in the curved area, and it turns out that my estimation skills tend to be way off here when it comes to baling. I clearly have not done nearly enough baling in Farm Sim, and so where just a moment ago I said there's no way we're going to get this all into one trip, I think we're going to get it into one trip easily. I don't see that we're going to have any problems getting the rest of this hay into our trailer here. So unfortunately, not as much yield as I was expecting out of this bit. I think the rows ended up being a bit shorter there in the curves, and for some reason I thought I had more rows back on the other end of the field there that just didn't end up existing. So it is what it is. We'll get all of this hay though loaded up here. It's going to take just a moment. We've got only one round left here, not even a round. We've got one pass left in this field to pick up, and we'll be bringing this up to the yard. I'm curious to take a look here once I get turned around at how our silage is doing. So we've got these harvest store silos, and they are doing the fermenting here on our, I believe, grass, or no, we forage harvested some of the corn that we had here, and so, or was it the silo that we had, or not silo, the Milo that we had here. And so I'm actually wondering if we've got enough to make some more food for our cows. Let's get lined up here and we'll check this out. I do like that we've got all the production chain stuff set up here. It makes it really easy to kind of monitor this stuff. And you can see here we've got 1,500 silage in our production facility here. Not quite enough to really do a whole lot of food with. We do have quite a bit more chaff there though that's working its way through the process, and so we'll just have to wait for a little bit more of that to get made here. Luckily, that's on a timer, and it'll be done long before we end up moving our time forward here to the next month. So I'm not too worried about having food for the next month, but we're really gonna have to load those up and get it going so that we're able to keep feeding these cows all the way through the winter. So with this last pass done here, we're gonna take this back up to the yard and take a quick look at how much we've got. I think we just did this a little bit ago, but I'm trying to do some estimates. I guess we don't know how much food the cows are actually going to eat in a given day here. So that's the only part of all of this that's making me a little bit nervous, is knowing if we've got enough food or not would require me to, I guess, pay a little bit of attention to how much the cows eat. I think they eat every hour. And so let's take a look here. We've got 17,615 food, and we're at 16:52 for a time. So let's go ahead and move the time scale forward a smidge. I want to see what happens when we tick over to 1700. That should give us a good indication. I'm going to drop the time right back down here, and let me get going down the road here so I don't crash into anything. And now we can take a look. We were at 17 something now. I've already forgotten. We'll have to look back at that in editing. We've got 17,615. We used, I think, less than 1,000. And so that means we've got at least 16 more hours of food in there. I'm guessing that that's going to hold a couple days worth of food at a minimum, or a couple of months, I should say, since every day is a month at our current time scale right now. Not too worried about it. We've got a ton of hay. I'm more worried that we're not going to have enough silage to keep making the TMR as we go through this process. We'll just have to be heavy on the hay in the mixture and use up quite a bit of this straw that we've got as well when we're feeding them to keep everything moving along here. So let's dump these hay bales off and then go check and see how our courseplay worker is doing on raking up this straw. That's going to be a real important piece of the puzzle here to make sure that our silage and hay goes as long as possible. There we go. I am really loving this hay loft here. This whole barn layout was really well put together, so a huge kudos to MB Farms and all the others that worked on this map. And I'm seeing that our course play worker is up here and stopped at the moment, which I'm really not sure why that happened. So let's just go ahead and get him turned around here, and we'll kick him right back off on running on this course. I guess we'll just have to keep a better eye on him. We're on nearest waypoint, so he should just kind of keep going here. These are some pretty short, squiggly rows here, but as soon as he gets those done, I think he's going to jump over onto the other side of the field where there's a lot longer rows available to him. I guess I should say her. I was really hoping with 2 headland passes that we wouldn't need to back up to do the turning around, but it is what it is, so we'll let the worker kind of keep going here, and I think this is going to be a great place to wrap up today's episode. We're going to try and crank out a number of episodes here. It's a little bit easier if I keep the episode shorter, and then I can get more regular videos out. Hopefully there won't be a lot of gaps in between them. It's a lot easier to find 20-30 minutes to record than it is to find an hour or 2 to record. So let me know what you guys think of the new format on the episodes here. And as always, I'm open to any thoughts or feedback as we go through the series here. I've got a couple of other cool ideas coming down the line here that we're going to try out, some different types of content. But as always, we'll be cranking on the farming here. However, I think that's all for today. Keterk out. We're already missing some, and we've not even gone down our first row. We got to go back and pick this up. We'll see if I can do a little bit job. Let me guys. Ugh.